So this is a quick, hopefully quick, rundown of my thoughts, feelings, reviews, advice with regards to the Forte Village Resort in South Sardinia. We came back from there Monday, and spent a week in South Sardinia. Weather was lovely, place was lovely. There are some things, however, particularly if you're thinking of booking it, that you should know before you make that decision. In terms of making the decision, you clicked on this video. We'd really appreciate it if you would subscribe, just to tip us over that 1,000 subscriber mark. You don't have to ever watch another one of the videos again, but we'd really appreciate it. Just help us out. Bit of kindness. I have got notes because the brain's not working. It doesn't work generally. So, why did we initially go for Forte Village? We were looking for a family-friendly resort. We were looking for something with a lot of on-site facilities. It was a half-board package, so that kind of took that element out of it that you're eating on-site. It was a holiday that was suggested by our in-laws, well, my in-laws, my wife's parents, that said, we want to take you away. So we were trying to stay budget conscious, but hitting all the things that were important to us. Just short flights, early flights, and lots to do for the children, because if you've not got enough facilities for the children, not that it's much of a holiday with children anyway, but you're screwed, knackered, buggered, you name it. So Forte Village looked, on the face of it, like it was a good choice. It had a kids club, it's got tennis courts, it's got swimming pools, it's got slides, again, number of dining options. The reviews, I admit, were mixed, and within the resort it's a little bit complicated because you've obviously got different tiers, 4-star, 5-star, different price levels, different rooms within different hotels on the site. So you've got Bougainville and La Palme, which are your more affordable ranges. I say affordable, we'll get to that, which is what we went for. Again, not necessarily something we'd have paid for. We might have upscaled a little bit, but I'm glad we didn't in the end. And so you've got Bougainville and La Palme, then you've got Il Borgo, Costello, Lejeune and Costello, I think, are your more higher end. You've got beachside villas, and then in the top left-hand corner, you had one more of a leading hotels of the world hotel, which didn't seem as many room options for fit families or larger families, 2 children or more. So that's why we chose it. And I don't want to run out of the gate with the negatives. So I'm going to run out of the gate with positives, the good things, the things that we enjoyed whilst we were there, and I'll refer to my notes just in case I forget anything. So the positives, the entertainment was good for children. So every evening after dinner, I haven't written dinner down on here actually, but every evening after dinner at 9 p.m, which is quite late for small children, but every small child joined in, you had the baby dance. So the staff from the children's club would do a dance session for half an hour with any children that turned up. Lovely. My children enjoyed it, they joined in, it was great. Following that, you always had kind of like a circus show, magic show, something along those lines. This was hit and miss, a little bit repetitive. Again, the children enjoyed it, so the argument is just because I didn't like it, it wasn't aimed at me or for me. Now again, just to wind back a little bit before I get to kind of the negatives and any criticism, we didn't go there for the football academy, the boxing academy, the hockey academy, the netball academy, any of those things. I didn't see a hockey or a netball court, maybe they're somewhere else. But we didn't go for those things. So if you're a parent and you want your child to just do football for 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and you just do your own thing, maybe this is more for you. But we didn't go for that at all. We just went to relax, have a nice family time and enjoy the facilities. So the evening entertainment was okay. After that, if you wanted to stay, so you've got 9 till half 9 the baby dance, then half 9 till 10 p.m. you've got the magic show, and then after 10 p.m. you generally had a range of dancers from the dance academy or singers. It's very subjective, but singers could have been a little better, or shall I say talented. Some of the staff were very friendly. Sarah in particular helped us out through some of our complaints while we were there. Sarah was brilliant. The boys at the beach, fantastic. And the point about the beach, if you go, is that the sun lounges, you need to get down there and tell them what you want. So So if you say, I need 2 umbrellas, which would be 4 loungers, I need them between this date and this date, and then we'll look at the availability. But there isn't instantly, it's not a free-for-all, it's not a bun fight, first come first served basis. You can book them, and as you get there, you will need to book them with the boys down at the beach to say, I want this, that and the other. That reservation is only held until 11 a.m, so it's your lounger for that period of time, and if you don't get there by 11, they will let other people use it. So again, if you get down to the beach and no one's using a particular umbrella or a sun lounger, and it's after 11 a.m, then you're good to sit on it. So there are positives in terms of that. So the beach boys were very friendly, very helpful, attentive, and the staff at the children's club, fantastic. The girls had a wonderful time. They were watched, they were cared for, they were given things to drink. I would say 8 is probably the maximum age I would put a child into the children's club. Otherwise, you would have to do a week-long academy or let them use the beach and other things with you. Other than that, in terms of staff, they didn't generally go above and beyond. That's getting into the negatives, going above and beyond to kind of make sure that your stay was enjoyable in any way, which is important. Next to that, obviously, it's a very beautiful location. The waters are crystal clear, the sand is lovely, although very bloody hot. And when you're out swimming out into the sea and looking back at the mountains, fantastic. And when you're playing tennis and again you're looking over at the mountains, fantastic. You couldn't ask for better. So it's a beautiful, beautiful location. Surprisingly, not that many fish in the sea, but that's not a complaint, it's just an observation. The room, and again, the problem is the room ties in with the price, which kind of comes down to the negative side. But the room generally was clean, it wasn't really run down. The view from the back was pretty crap, to be honest. And it was a bit cramped. You didn't, kind of for a family room, you had 2 single beds in one area and 1 double bed in another, and it was small, should we say. But generally, it was air conditioned, it was clean, it was tidy. They provided you with 4 small bottles of water a day, which, again, with it being 30 odd degrees and being a family room, you could do with a little bit more, but it is what it is. And the food was okay. It was on a half-board package. So on the positive side, the food was fine. It was nothing to write home about. If you were in one of the restaurants, that was better. So on a half-board package, you could eat at the buffet, or Hotel Bougainville, I think, and Le Palm. You could then choose 3 restaurants as well as the buffet. So you could a traditional Sardinian restaurant, which for us was 2 options: a suckling pig and a bit of fish, and you got a small starter. There was a Brazilian restaurant where they brought round roasted meats on a spit, and again you had, I think, a starter of smoked salmon at the time, and the dessert was roast pineapple. And then there was a grill restaurant where you could choose from. The left side of the menu was all included, and the right side of the menu had a supplement, and then you had a range of desserts. So you'd have a salad bar to starter, and then you would have either a chicken or a pastrami sandwich, 2 types of steak, maybe one other thing, and then you would order dessert. So that was also good. Again, the staff were lovely, they were attentive. Couldn't fault the staff at any of those 3 restaurants. Really, again, not fine dining or silver service, but it was great. Part of dealing with Sarah and a few of the kind of issues we were having, we were placed for one evening, my wife and I, not the children, not my in-laws, which I'm not sure went down very well, in one of their more higher end restaurants. Now, if you are staying on a half-board package, you could pay €100 extra each. If you're not a guest, it would be €150 each. That was in the top left-hand corner of the map. It was the Belvedere restaurant, which is on the 2nd floor, I think, of the leading hotels of the world, hotel part of the resort. Can't remember what it's called. Food there, the gap between the buffet, which is included, all the 3 restaurants, and that restaurant and the service is astronomical. You can't quite fathom that. They brought a chair over for my wife's handbag. They kind of one person saying, do you want more olive oil? At the same time, someone's already bringing it because they've also noticed that you need more olive oil for your bread. They brought her another type of bread because my wife's trying to not have milk, and the pecorino was on their flatbread thing. The attention to detail and the level of care at that restaurant was unbelievable compared to if you were just at the buffet. But generally, the food was good. So, a rundown of the positives. Beautiful place. It's a short flight from the UK, which is handy for us. The children's club was good. It was very well maintained. It was very beautiful. Lots of flowers. There was lots of planting. You could play. There was the odd table, maybe 1 or 2 table tennis tables that you could use for free, kicking around, and a few table football tables. Yeah, that's where we're going to have to put a full stop in it now. The negatives, and I will try and remember, and I'm remembering one and writing it down now. Negatives. It's going to start with price. Now, because we were able to go in June, because the children were on holiday, if you were to book the room we had in July or August, it would cost you €10,000 just for that one room for a family of 4, 2 adults and 2 children for a week on a half-board package. For me, for what you get, for the level of dining and the level of service and the standard of the room, €10,000 is astronomically ridiculous and not comparable when you could look at other resorts and other holidays. Because whilst you are on a resort in a lovely place, only 2 hours away from the UK, none of the things that are on site, apart from the children's club and the odd table tennis table and table football, are free. That makes a big difference to your holiday, and we'll get onto that. But in terms of your actual room, €10,000 for a half-board package, personally, and for other people it may be different, but personally, is ridiculous. And yes, that includes your transfers, your flights. No, it doesn't actually. This €10,000 is directly with the hotel and the accommodation. It's ludicrous for that standard of room, that size of room. On the room, the door didn't bloody work. The safe I fudged on the first day. I followed the instructions, it locked, it never opened again. So I was locking everything in my case on the code locks and just hoping nobody stole the case. I did report it to reception. Did anyone come and open the safe? No. Did I report it twice? Yes. The door struggled to lock, and I've got videos which I'll put on now with the key. And on one day, I couldn't even lift up the handle. Again, I reported it. Did they come and change it? No. Was it a bit hit and miss? Sometimes it locked, sometimes it didn't. Yes, but the majority of the times it didn't. All very bloody annoying, and all worse than it should be, and just puts the little dampener on the holiday. The staff that weren't the ones that were mentioned. I mean, we were walking down the stairs, and one of the waiters, I'm sure maybe he had maybe he had an emergency to go to. I don't know, but it was kind of a thread with other members of staff who just pushed past us all on the stairs. No scusi, or no anything. Just pushed past. When we were trying to look at the bill and say, look, how much have we spent so far? They got the city tax wrong. Oh, that's fine, let's change it. And then, so we paid up part of the way of the week, and then we went back to double check again, because some charges were put on that shouldn't. The city tax was put on again, even though we'd already paid it. It didn't show any amount that we'd already paid. Minibar kept turning up on there. We didn't have anything from the minibar. The large bottle of still water and sparkling water that were in the fridge were never removed. Kept appearing on the bill, even up to the point of checkout. So always check your bill. But when these were questioned, the member of staff at reception was noticeably aggravated, almost like it was our fault, which is annoying. On check-in, we were never greeted. Normally, apparently, the manager just comes up and says, hello, welcome, let me show you this, let me show you that. Nothing. Didn't explain how the lounges work. None of the dining options. I requested before we got there, can I book the restaurants? So we didn't want to eat the buffet every night, which is bloody good we did. If you can not eat the buffet, I would suggest you don't. But I asked to book them before. Nope. But I was told apparently that we should have been able to. I rang on the first day to book the restaurants. At least two or three of those bookings were lost. So we turned up for a restaurant booking at a Brazilian meat restaurant. That was lost, and we had to go to the buffet. Had to complain again. The app When you then try and use the app to book restaurants, you found that restaurants are already booked up. The buffet they moved without telling anybody, because it's in their Pinatum restaurant, but because they had a conference on, which they seem to do a lot of conferences, that allocated buffet restaurant was taken up, but none of this was communicated. So you would turn up and the buffet wasn't there. So you couldn't book the 3 allocated restaurants very easily or with much availability as part of your half-board package. The dining is weird because the breakfast finishes at 10. It told us at reception it finished at 9:30, but apparently it finishes at 10. The breakfast finished at 10, but the dining didn't start until 7:30. So there's this cavernous gap between breakfast and dinner. And if you've got children and you can't get a booking for 7:30, then if you've got a 6-year-old, you don't want to be eating at 9 o'clock at night. Not if you're the kind of parent who gives your children some sort of routine and values their rest, and certainly not if you want them to then attend the magic show and the dance and all the rest of it. So it was bizarre, but in general, the general point here is the staff. And a lot of the staff could do with some training in terms of customer service and customer well-being and making sure that customers arrive happy, are happy when they stay, and are happy when they leave, and don't put it on reviews such as this. The price we've already covered. Within the price and the €10,000 are the extras. So they've got their table tennis academy, and you've got 3 table tennis tables inside. You can't use those unless you pay, say, €40 for half an hour. You go for a game of tennis, they've got 6 or 7 clay courts, you've got a paddle court, you've got a pickleball court. When we turned up, I turned up without a shirt on, just come from the pool, and I was told to put a shirt on. Fine. It wasn't said in the most friendly of manners, but fine. Rules are rules, not that it said it anyway. Not a single person was playing tennis. It's €50 to hire a court, I'm assuming for an hour, and €10 each for the rackets. The rackets, maybe you could understand, not that they were great rackets, which means if you're the kind of person that wants to play tennis for an hour a day, it would cost you 7 times 7, €490 if my maths is correct, to play tennis every day. That's quite a lot. And if more of you want to play tennis, so you need more rackets, it would obviously be more. If you want to bowl, we turned up for the bowling, €20 each to do the bowling. But if you booked a resort and you think that's because it's all on site, no. So it would have cost us €120 for some bowling, which I think is completely ridiculous. It just seems that everything you touch on there and everything is just designed to just extract money from you at every point. The meal in the restaurant that we were sent to, which would be €100 extra each, if it were in the UK, and given that drinks were probably an extra €50 and you've already paid for your dining credit. So if your dining credit's already €50, you pay an extra 100 each, that's 250, and 50 for your drinks, €300. Which maybe is like £250. If I went and had that meal in the UK for £250, yeah, I'd be about it. It wasn't that good. It wasn't £250 good. But it was nice, and the service was very good. Not knocking it, but in terms of is it worth it? No. One thing I haven't mentioned as a positive are, in terms of facilities, the slides for the children and the water park. They loved it. It's great. Brilliant. That is, and it's free, so it's even better. The dining booking, the minibar charges, those are the negatives. There's possibly more, but generally, I don't want to just shit on it from a height. But for the standard of room, for the level of service, for the facilities on site, if you were going in summer, it's not worth €10,000. I would rather pay more and go to an Icos resort where everything is included, or I would rather pay less and just have a nice beach holiday. Because that's all you're getting, or really you're getting a very basic room with very basic service, with very basic dining and a beach. Granted, slides and a good kids club. I imagine you can find that in Europe for less than €10,000. So would I go back? No. Would I go back if someone else was paying? Yeah, maybe. But generally, I would say the Forte Village needs to, one, revamp some of its stuff, The bowling, we did pay, what was it, 80 euros for 4 of us to bowl. We didn't pay it. And by the time we'd finished, we'd run out of balls because the ball return wasn't even working, and the poor guy had to go and lift up the floor to try and get some of the balls back. It needs some money spending on it, and it needs to revise some of its pricing. Nobody playing tennis at all. There's all these tennis courts on site. Can we ever get into tennis? Yeah, 70 euros. Sorry? There are some good things, but on balance, there are too many bad things to recommend it to anybody. And that's all I have to say. So please, as at the beginning, would really appreciate if you would subscribe. Really appreciate it if you would stick around watching the video, or maybe request something. But until then, thank you for watching.